Hey everyone, welcome back to the Civilmation Podcast. I am your host, Civil Spider. So, for those of you that are new or stopping by, I'm going to give you a quick little gist on the podcast. So, I'm making this podcast for anyone interested in the animation business. It doesn't matter to me whether you are someone who's an artist in terms of drawing, maybe you're a writer, maybe you're a concept design artist, maybe you're a video game animator. I don't care what you do. If you have a dream of being in this business, I want you to see every possible route that can be taken to work in animation, because I myself have always wanted to be in animation, but being a video editor, I never knew the options that were there for me. So I want everyone to know the options that are available for them. So today, who I have with me is actually a pretty special guest, because I feel personally not a lot of people really know him, not a lot of people know about him, but I feel that's mainly because he's one of the behind the scenes type people that I really want to put in the spotlight, because we all shouldn't forget about the people behind the scenes. So today we have a Planet Dolan writer. His name is Derek. Derek, can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Awesome. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm well. Gotta make sure I eat after this. Been a long day, but you know, it'll be okay. But
It's
okay.
been a long day for me too.
Oh, has it?
Oh yes, it has. Been up since like 6:30.
Oh, yikes. Okay, that's earlier than me. Okay, I have no reason to say that then. All right.
You're fine.
So, let's go ahead and get right to it then. So, actually, my first question to you is going to be what... I want to know, is Derek your actual name?
It is. It's my real name.
Okay, so you actually go by your actual name. Now, I do notice on Twitter you have a picture. I'm not sure if that's like a character you made up. Is that character that's on there in reference of you, or is that just a random person like drew it and you used it?
Actually, that's my Planet Dolan character.
Oh, you see, like, honestly, see, guys, I'm not even up to date with that. I didn't know that was your Planet Dolan character. Okay,
Yeah.
And is that, like, in development?
No, it's done. It's been featured in 2 stories so far.
Oh, yikes, I'm a bad employee.
You're fine. You're
I'm
fine.
sorry.
You're fine.
Okay.
Oh, you're good.
Does your character have a name, or is it just referred to as Derek?
It's just referred to as Derek. You know, I want to give it... You know, I briefly thought about maybe giving it a different name, because it looks so much like a Disney villain, in my opinion.
Oh, I like it, though.
Yes, I love it too. I love my character. But I thought, well, no, because I want people to know me as Derek, as my real name, because that's the name I write under. Like, I don't write under a pseudonym or anything, so.
Gotcha. So you kind of, you just want you to use your name? That's all good. Not sure if you know, but I like to just say it. My name is Tony. So as of now, though, this is really my first time meeting you, so it is nice to meet you, Derek.
Very nice meeting you too.
So I'm gonna go on to the next question, and that question is, now when I say what is your profession, I know you are a writer, but I don't know that in terms of, do you do writing outside of Dolan? Like, are you like someone that writes for fun, or is this an actual career path for you?
It's actually a little bit of both. Besides Planet Dolan, I do write short stories, well, mainly short stories. This past year I had a short story published, and then the year before that, in 2016, I had a piece of flash fiction published. I am hoping to get more fiction published. Before that, I worked very briefly as a newspaper reporter, because that's why I went to school. I wanted to be a journalist.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, that was going to lead to the question. So how did you start writing then?
Well, to be honest, I originally wanted to be an actor when I was a little kid, yes. But I realized, living in the Midwest, I thought, I'm awfully far away from California or New York, you know.
The big places.
Right, I can't appear on Broadway, I can't do movies in Hollywood. I'm stuck in my Midwestern town. So I decided to make my own movies, so I could act them.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
I ended up writing and making 5 movies, and of course they sucked, because I was in elementary school at the time.
Well, you're learning. You're learning.
Exactly. I mean, they was fun to make, but I ended up writing more scripts. And when I say scripts, I'm talking about like more short story format scripts, not like the actual Hollywood standard. And I think that's what ignited a passion in writing.
So writing these scripts then is kind of just what led you to be like, I actually enjoy writing.
Exactly. I love telling the stories. I did have a lot of ideas for stories. I still do.
So you said that you've had, I believe it was a short story and a sorry, I lost it. Is a short story and something else published, correct?
That's correct. It was a piece of flash fiction.
There we go. Are those available to the public, or how does that work?
Sadly.
Sadly, no.
Sadly. Well, as in the first piece of fiction I ever had published was in 2016, was a piece of flash fiction. It's sad because the magazine has since become defunct, and so no one can read it. And the short story I had published this past year is a college published magazine, and I mean that's still available. Like if people, I guess, looked up the college
for it.
Yeah, they looked the college up online and maybe requested a copy. Now I'm not sure how that works. I looked at the website. They don't have a store, unfortunately, so no one can buy it.
Yeah, I wonder if it's only sold like within or something, or I don't know. Not
The
sure
only reason I have a copy, well, I got 2 copies because I wrote one of their stories, and they gave me a couple of contributors' copies.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love it.
So then let's recap a little bit. So essentially, what happened is you're growing up, wanted to be in movies, wanted to be an actor, which again I think that's great. I like those aspirations because that can lead to so many things, such as it has for yourself. And then that took a turn into you writing your own short films, and then that's how you got into writing. Now, you did say that you went to college because you wanted to be a journalist. So, did you end up getting like a degree? So, is your title journalist then if you went for school for that, or is that just something you were going to do?
Journalism was a focus of mine. The school I went to didn't offer a journalism degree. However, they had journalism. Or I shouldn't say, they had a couple journalism-centered courses.
Okay.
Like my degree is in professional writing. The school I went to, there were 2 writing tracks, creative and professional. And of course I went with the professional because journalism is professional writing, it's not creative writing.
So then when you say creative, sorry to cut you off, but when you say creative, does that mean like fiction-wise?
Yes.
Oh, see, I didn't know you can do that. Okay.
Yeah, well, my school you could. I'm not sure if you can do it in other schools, although I'm hoping you can because I thought that was a great program. Mm-hmm. It was a great idea.
Well, I like the idea. That's good.
Oh, yeah. It is. Oh, it's a great idea.
So, okay, so you got into the professional one because that's what journalism is.
Yep, and during my time there, I wrote a couple restaurant reviews for the college's monthly newspaper, and I know the managing editor one day just said, "Hey, Derek, you want to write restaurant reviews for the paper?" I go, "Okay."
Okay.
Fine. And during that time, I was interning at a daily newspaper. Just doing odd stuff. I was copy editing, reporting, just writing news releases into little stories, working with a community calendar. Basically, almost everything.
That's kind of how you went into it, no?
Right. It was, actually.
Okay. Did that stray into anything by any chance?
After when I graduated, the editor from my local newspaper invited me to cover city government or city council meetings.
Big dog meetings.
Yeah, it was. Let's just say it wasn't like I was in New York or LA. I mean, or even say Minneapolis, because I'm in Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
And so it was small town, meaning not a lot went on. So I did the best I could, but
well, I mean, that's the best you can do is just give it your best. So
exactly.
And how'd that go?
It went okay. I mean, I wasn't really. That was around the time I realized that journalism wasn't for me.
No, okay.
Because I am one of the shyest people you will ever meet, and being a reporter means, I don't want to say being aggressive. Being assertive is more like it. And you have to be on the phone, you have to dig for information. I just can't do that. I mean, if I had to write a story about a woman's son dying overseas in the military, let's say he was fighting for a country. I mean, and I had to interview her. I could not pick up that phone and, ask her
those
questions. Yes, exactly. I couldn't do that. Even though it'd be acceptable. I mean, if handled correctly, it'd be respectful. It'd be okay. But, I mean, I know I could have done that easily. It was just that feeling of asking a grieving mother about her deceased son. I don't know.
Well, no, yeah, but and what I want to say to the audience here in terms of what you're saying is I like what Derek just said, because that's something that I feel everyone needs to be aware of, which is self-awareness, just knowing who you are. And there's going to be times with a lot of stuff that you're doing, particularly in animation, that maybe there's going to be something that you feel is right for you, or not. Let's not even think of animation if you want. Think about just your life. There's going to be something that you feel like might be the right choice for you, but in actuality, when you go into it, you have to be self-aware and realize, like, hey, you know what? Maybe this isn't for me because I'm not this kind of person, or I can't do this, or I don't have the guts to do that. And Derek here, I mean, he was self-aware and just knew, like, you know what? I don't know. I guess you can say you didn't have the heart to ask for that, something like that, Derek.
I guess you could say that. I mean, that was just an example, but just having to ask difficult questions.
No, for sure.
Call people, just being, like you said, self-aware.
Yeah, and I think that's important for sure, because even for myself, I mean, same thing. I've learned, just like anyone else, actually. We all learn about ourselves every day, and it doesn't. If you change one day to the next, doesn't mean you weren't, right about it. It's just you're figuring yourself out, And as time goes on, such as Derek here so far, your life changes, and so will you. So, Derek, you went from, again, growing up, writing your short films. Eventually, you got, into journalism, or you were pursuing that. You had a focus on that. What happened after that?
Well, after I decided journalism wasn't for me, first of all, I want to segue into, towards the time when I was starting to rethink my journalism focus, I began writing working for an arts and entertainment website, which is also now defunct, of course.
Oh.
It's a curse, I guess, with me.
No.
I'm just kidding. No. But I was what they called the interviews manager.
Ooh, sounds important.
Oh, yeah. I guess. I like to think it was important.
No, I think it's important. That's what matters. But go on.
It was fun. Our focus was to educate artists and to help them to, I guess, how do they put it? Monetize their creative talent and turn their art into a business. Something like that. It was years ago. And I would get, part of the way we would educate artists is to interview professional ones. And let's just say I talked to a lot of very interesting people. It was so interesting. And I mean, I'm surprised to this day, and I'm not trying to brag here.
No, go ahead.
I mean, I actually got interviews with a few pretty big people.
Ooh,
which
like who?
was surprising. Not sure if you've heard of them. If we can know. But yeah. Oh, yeah, that's fine. The interviews were published and all that. One of them was Lisa Loeb. She's a musician. I'm not sure if anyone's heard of her. She was big in the 90s.
Okay, so Lisa Loeb.
Lisa Loeb. David Baldacci, he's an author. Now, it was all via email, first of all. Unfortunately, I didn't talk to him on the phone. I think it would have been awesome to talk to Wes Craven on the phone. And that one, I have to admit, took a little, not to get too off topic here, but it took a little coaxing of his assistant. Like, his assistant, I remember, said, he's in the middle of editing a movie right now, but he may be able to do it if you give him some publicity of his latest movie that he produced called Last House on the Left. It was a remake of his first movie he ever directed.
Gotcha.
I'm like, absolutely. I said, yes.
Okay, no, that's good. As long as you can get the interview that you're looking for, right?
Oh, definitely. I mean, it wasn't anything where I said we would mention Last House on the Left just to get the interview. I mean, we did that with all artists. We'd always ask, what are you working on now, or what projects are coming out? So it wasn't to cater to Wes Craven.
Oh, okay. It just happened to be part of the job anyway.
Correct. Yes.
Gotcha. Well, still, that's awesome though that you get to meet some, like you said, some top people. Regardless if some of us know them or not, you know they're top people. So that's great. It was fun. So
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry for cutting you off. It's just as you were saying all this, I feel like there's a question I missed that really should have been in the beginning. So I'm gonna have to like ask it now, just in case the audience is like, wait, he never asked. So I said that you're a writer at Planet Dolan. Can you actually elaborate on that? Like, what is it that you do?
Well, right now I basically edit the Dolan True Stories. Like, I'll curate the stories from our subreddit and edit them into readable stories while inserting Planet Dolan characters in there. When I first started...
Oh, sorry. Just in case someone doesn't know what curate means. So
right.
Basically, you're kind of just like choosing the best story and then rewriting them for Planet Dolan? Is that kind
of... Exactly, so that the voice actors can easily read it.
Oh, okay. There you go, guys. Just in case we missed that. Okay.
Yes. And when I first began with Planet Dolan, I was writing the fact countdowns, which I don't do anymore, but yep, I started that.
So how long have you been doing this then for Planet Dolan?
2 years this June.
No way, 2016? Wow, I feel like a lot of people started the year I started. It's just like, obviously we wouldn't think of that because you said you started in June. By the way, June 1st is my birthday, so did you start in June 1st?
I didn't actually. It was late June.
Oh, nuts. All right, well,
only 30
days away. Well, I actually started like late August. I want to say it was like August, same thing, like August 28th. But yeah, I just didn't know you got in Planet Dolan that time. But okay, so you've been doing it then essentially for 2 years. And, how's that been? I mean, I guess something that'll stray into this question is another question of, now that you're writing and being a part of Planet Dolan, I mean, how has that journey been in terms of you went from thinking you wanted to be a journalist, which is obviously, like you said, like a professional type of writing, into an animation channel where it's basically, fiction, so to speak. So, how do you feel going from that to animation?
To be honest, I never really lost my interest in fiction writing or even filmmaking. I mean, there's still a desire in the back of my mind, or not desire, but an interest in writing for whether it be movies or TV shows, or in this case, a YouTube channel. Like, there was a brief time I tried getting into screenwriting. I did manage to write, or I should say co-write a couple of movies that were made. Independent movies, you haven't heard of them. Probably not.
That's fine. But still, you were helping. Gotcha.
Yep. And so I've never lost my interest or desire to write fiction, to write something that could be seen on the screen.
So then, you've never lost the interest, which is great. So using that passion, so to speak, of still being able to write, I mean, I'm sure, that passion is what basically keeps you going, I'm assuming, into, writing these true story videos. So then my question is, did you ever think that you would go from journalism to working for an animation company? And if so, is this something you still kind of would like to pursue, whether that be at Planet Dolan or not? And when I say that, I mean working for an animation company or being in the animation business.
To be honest, I just love writing creatively being fiction so much. I mean, I did not think that, because after journalism, I really didn't think that I would be doing a lot of creative writing, a lot of fiction writing, especially for an animation channel. I probably would have gone back to short story and novel writing, which is what I'm doing now, because like I said before, I just love telling stories. And I just love, and I'm just glad Dolan gave me the opportunity.
So then, if yes, thanks to Dolan, definitely, because Dolan, I want the audience to know, like, he really is a great guy. Like, he's opened a lot of opportunities for a lot of us. So, just as much as Derek is thankful for it, so am I, and I'm sure others are. But let's say, knock on wood, on a bad day, no more Planet Dolan, that's gone. What would you do with, like, I was about to say with yourself, but that sounds bad. I just mean, what would you do if you're not writing for Planet Dolan? What's the next goal for Derek?
Well, my next goal is to write a novel. Forget about these short stories and novellas or short novels. I'm going to write a novel. Even if it's just one, I want to write one and publish one.
Do you have an idea of what? Would it be fiction, nonfiction? What do you think?
Oh, it'd be fiction. I wouldn't want to write nonfiction, to be honest. I just love creating stories, creating fictitious characters and events. Love doing it. But if Planet Dolan was to disappear, say, now, Well, I'd be disappointed because there wouldn't be any extra monthly income.
Yes,
but also,
that would suck.
Yes. Even though I have a full-time job.
Oh,
but
still.
Yeah, but still though, it's still helpful, especially now since I bought a house.
Yes. Which, by the way, is going to be something I'm going to ask about soon, if that's okay.
Oh, of course, that's fine. And this is probably something you want. This is probably what you want to know. Would I tried writing for another animation channel?
Oh yeah, or just let's say, God blesses us, or a higher being blesses us, and you're like, guess what, Derek? Disney wants to hire you. Would you take the opportunity?
Oh, of course I would.
And now, don't let the name Disney get to you, though. My point is, as long as it's a fictitious or a company that wants you to write fiction, that's still something you're definitely into doing.
I would like to. I would like to do that.
Okay.
I think it'd be a lot of fun.
So now, because we're talking here about Planet Dolan, this is like you said, this is like your side thing, which I'm sure you love. So then you have a full-time job. So what is your full-time job? Again, not trying to get too into detail because I don't want to put your business out there. But are you still writing?
My full-time job, I am not writing. It's basically I work for the Department of Labor and Industry.
Ooh,
so it's a state government job, yeah.
Okay, but I'm assuming you make some good income if that's helping you.
I do. Oh
yes.
Yeah, I do. I definitely do.
Okay.
Benefits are great.
So then, if that's your full-time job, because I think if anything, what I also want people to know about is like you said, or just using you as the example here, you have a full-time job, but you're still doing your passion of writing, through a different source, So I guess the question is, how do you manage a full-time job and still being able to write for Planet Dolan?
Really just prioritize. It's about prioritizing. It's about being passionate for the work I do at Planet Dolan. That's really it. I mean, it's not really an interesting answer or anything, but it's still how you manage it, because right. I feel though, in the world we live in, like time, everyone since the dawn of man, I'm sure, time is money has been somewhat of a thing, that's used everywhere. But I guess the thing is, it's just like some people, I don't want to put down anyone or like make it seem like, they don't have responsibilities. But I always feel if you're truly passionate about something, you'll find the time. Whether that be having to pull an all-nighter to write, having to be pulling an all-nighter to draw, to edit, So that's why I'm asking you, like, how do you manage it if you already have something full-time? I mean, do you kind of have to, like, give up occasionally, like, going out or going to see a movie? Like, is your passion to you more important than, a simple pleasure of watching something? So I guess that's kind of what I'm asking there. Oh, I get. Well, I'll be honest, I don't like going out a whole lot. I like just after work, staying at home and just relaxing. I guess I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that because, I mean, I may have to give up working on my own stuff to work for Planet Dolan because, I mean, the difference is I'm paid for the Planet Dolan work.
Which is nice.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So you just basically have to put aside personal projects to do...
Right.
Dolan. Okay.
Exactly, just setting aside personal projects, exactly. But yeah, like I said, I don't like going out really much, just chilling at home and relaxing. Between people being nutcases on the roads to prices just being so high, unbelievably high. Like, for example, I used to go to the movie theater all the time. Mm-hmm. Not anymore. I mean, everything there from the movie tickets to the concessions are so high. The prices of those,
they're rising.
They're high.
Yes, they're on the rise. That's why some people, myself included, sometimes will just bring in little Snickers in the pocket or try to sneak stuff in because I'm not gonna pay like $8 for a chocolate bar.
Yeah, what is this, the airport?
Yeah, it's ridiculous sometimes. Like legit, it is bad. But yeah, all right. So. Okay, so you know what? Because you're talking about it, so you saying you like to stay home. What I was bringing up earlier is I saw a tweet saying you were officially a homeowner. Yep. Now that is something I'm interested in. And again, not to put your personal business out. How do you feel now being a homeowner for one, and two, knowing that, your hobby, your passion kind of helped you get that too, I'm sure.
It definitely did help me get it. Like I keep saying, if it wasn't for working at Planet Dolan, I would probably be in this apartment for another at least few years.
Oh wow, so that really helped.
it helped tremendously.
That's
so
great.
I like to say my writing helped me buy this house.
Everyone, in case you didn't hear him, his writing helped him buy his house. How amazing is that? That is honestly inspirational too, because that is a big thing of mine, which is like I really want people to get it. Like you have responsibilities. You definitely can get a full-time job somewhere else. That's fine. But you never know where this hobby, that one little thing that you just love to do, can take you. And for you, it actually helped you buy a house, which is great.
It helped me a lot, definitely.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, again, I just want to say congratulations to you. I know that's a big step, and I sincerely hope it all goes well.
So far, so good. A few spots during the loan process where it was stressful, but it's all done.
It happens, yeah.
It
now you can only go up from here, I'm assuming.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm moving next Wednesday, so yeah.
Yes. Well, again, congrats.
Thank you.
So now you are a writer.
Yes.
So here's my next straight of the question. Then it's basically okay. You're a writer. I personally like to read. I haven't read honestly often lately, as much as I used to. But for example, like I read, I'm not sure if you know who Gary Vaynerchuk is or the audience knows. He's just an entrepreneur I look up to. But like the most reading I've done is I read his newest book, and I read that in like 5 days. If I really like something, I'll read it because it's good. I actually like to read. So then, that is going to lead to my question is, now there's billions of authors, there's billions of writers, poets, whatever you call it. Mm-hmm. Is there someone that you look up to? Someone that gives you the inspiration?
To be honest, I really don't. I mean, there aren't any authors that inspire me. I'll be honest.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
I do love reading James Patterson. If you've heard of him.
Have not.
Okay, he wrote a bunch of the Alex Cross novels. Anyway.
So James.
James Patterson is his name.
Because I'm going to look that up. Okay, so James Patterson.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I love his work. I wouldn't say he's inspired me. Like I said, it's really weird. It's a great question. It's just I can't answer it because I just don't have any people. People do not inspire me, or the authors don't inspire me. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I shouldn't say that. That did not sound arrogant at all.
No. I get what you're trying to say. So then, how about this then? If not a writer, then who would be somebody that you do look up to? Whether it be a celebrity figure, or you can even tell me it's like your dog. Like honestly, like is there someone that inspires you?
To be honest, it's really anyone who reads. I shouldn't say who reads my writing, because I like to write to entertain people. I don't like to write for fame and fortune, because I always thought that was a bad
reason to write.
Bad reason to write. You can definitely do that, and I'm not passing judgment for those who do, and I'm not really answering the question here, I'm sorry.
No.
But, there are so many writers out there. So many talented writers who are not getting published.
Oh, I believe
and they should be. Yes, it's sad.
No, but it's honestly the truth.
It is the truth.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm trying to say here is that the writing field is very competitive. It is so competitive. There are so many writers out there. And I'm going to stop right now because I am not answering your question.
Well, I like what you're saying, because then here's something that I'll ask that goes directly from what you said. There's a lot of writers out there, just like there's a lot of everything else, But
right.
But to the audience that's here listening, to those that are still here, to those that are even contemplating about writing, what is something you really want them to take away? Meaning, what's a big piece of advice that you feel, if you were younger or see yourself younger, you would definitely share this advice with them because you really feel like you wish you'd known that earlier?
First of all, if you want to write well, read.
That was read, by the way.
Yes. Yes. Okay. It is very important to read. Being careful not to copy the writing style of the author you're reading, but to learn how that particular author is explaining something. anyone could describe a fight by someone, this guy punches the other guy in the face. That's not a very interesting description. Maybe, I guess, shouldn't put it this way, but flower it up a little bit.
No, yeah.
It could be something like he delivers a right hook to the jaw. His fist make contact with his jaw. I mean, it's nothing. That second one isn't really good, but I think you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, those second two sounds better than the first.
Right.
And I get it. It's like, it's one of those things where it's, I guess to put it in my terms that would make sense to me for video editing. It's like, if I change literally like one keyframe, that makes all the difference. You, for example, as a writer, if you change one word, or add one more word, like that can make all the difference too. So I'm assuming then you're saying read, learn from these people, and ultimately not try not to like plagiarize or something like that, but essentially just understand the way they express it to help you find your way to express. Is that kind of it?
Exactly. And also, I would say besides reading and learning from how the particular author wrote that story, what I would also do is, if you do write, take your time. Try not to think too far ahead. When I say think far ahead, I'm talking about in terms of finding a publisher and getting published and possibly getting fame and fortune. Mm-hmm. Concentrate on, if you do that, you're going to want to just get the story done. In other words, you're going to end up try rushing it, which is what I did a lot of when I was young. I just wanted to get it done. I kept thinking while I was writing these scripts, I want to make this movie. It's going to be a cool movie, and we're going to be able to break a window or something stupid. Mm-hmm. But so I just wanted to write fast and get it done, not to just slow down, develop the story, develop the characters. I just wanted to slow down. Slow down.
I like that though, because right. I agree with you on that too. No, I just really do like what you said, because I'm over here thinking about myself too in terms of like some stuff that I do. Yeah, sometimes honestly I do rush through things just for the sake of, like you said, just getting it done. And I don't like that. And you're right. It's just, I know this is like, to put in again in terms that make sense to me. It's like when I'm editing something. Yeah, I'm like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do it now. But instead of taking the time and, like, thinking of alternate ways, maybe even expanding on what you're doing, I'm with you on that, though. I really like that. I think I'm going to put that on the title of this video, which is going to be, like, interview with writer, curator Derek, and then in quotes, I'm going to say, slow down.
Yeah, I love that.
Because I love that. Now, of course, help me, though, because I'm going to be honest. I like to talk. As in, like, I am better at expressing myself with, through talking. I am just so bad through text. As in, I talk and text the same way, which is bad. Because sometimes I'll, like, say words through, in my typing, and I'm like, wait, that would make sense through voice, but not through writing. So, if you ever see, like, any grammatical errors, throw it my way, because I'm trying to get better at it. Actually, has that been something, though? Like something in you? Are you naturally, like, a pet peeve guy? Like, do you hate it when people mix up you're and you are? Are you one of those?
No, I'm not. I'm not a grammar Nazi.
Oh, really?
No,
a writer that's not a grammar Nazi. I like that.
Yeah, okay. It's too. I don't want to become pretentious. You know what I mean?
Ah, yes.
If it's something that, like, if I see it in a published work, I might get a little irritated at, say, the editor. But it doesn't bother me. It's like, okay, whatever. We all make mistakes. It happens.
Very true. So,
and by the way, I'm just the opposite. I am, as you've heard, I'm not a good speaker, but my strength lies within text.
Oh, I wish I had a mixture of both, man. So, like, earlier you were telling me how you were, sending emails to these, like, top people. Me, I'd be like, hi, I'm Tony. Can we please find a way to talk? Like, through Skype, Discord, because I can explain myself a lot better through there. But, okay, that's awesome, though. But, hey, overall, though, I'm going to slowly start wrapping things up. So I have, if anything, I just have 2 more questions for you. So before I hit those, how are you feeling? Hopefully this podcast has been something fun for you. And honestly, I'm just hoping that you're enjoying being able to, like, the way I like to say it, would just kind of come out of the shadows and be like, hey, you know, I work at Planet Dolan too. I'm a writer. May not be as well known, but, you know, you're here.
Oh, yeah, I'm having a great time. I'm flattered that you want to interview me.
Oh, for sure. I'm trying to get everyone, man. No one's going to be left out. For sure.
Oh, nice. Oh, something I wanted to add, though.
Yeah.
In terms of something that, if you're writing for animation, or maybe it's a TV show or a movie, if you're writing a screenplay, because I used to, like I said, I used to briefly do that. Something that I wish I would have known back then, and it's really easy, and that is, screenwriting is a visual medium. In other words, if you can't see it or hear it, it doesn't belong in there. It does not belong in the script.
Ooh, okay.
So screenwriting isn't the same as writing a novel. And, I mean, in a novel you can say something like, as Tony climbed the stairs, he was worried that he may find his wife dead, for example.
Right.
Well, that doesn't belong in a screenplay, because we can't see your worry. We can, I mean, if I wrote in the screenplay Tony's face wrinkled with worry, that'd be okay.
Yeah, because I can picture that better.
Right. You can't describe feelings. You can't describe worry. Like his stomach turned into a big knot as he climbed each step. You know, you can't see the stomach
like nodding. It's
nodding up. Yeah, I can see Tony, the character Tony, walking up the stairs, but I can't see that knot forming in his stomach.
Okay.
But yes,
that's a good tip, though.
Show don't tell. Show don't tell.
Show don't tell. Okay.
Yes.
That's actually a good tip, because I'll even admit, even me, you know, I even took like AP literature and writing in school. I don't even know how I got there, but I did. But like, yeah, it's one of those things where like you kind of would think you'd know it all, but then hearing it from you, it's kind of like, oh, that's actually a good trick or a good tip. You know, so thanks for sharing that, though. I like that.
No problem. It may come more under advice, but that's something that I wish my younger self would have known while I was first writing those scripts.
Well, you definitely learned from them, though. So, if anything, improvement. That's all we can strive for. So then, alrighty, overall, guys, if you're still here, still listening, we have here Derek, writer for Planet Dolan. Grew up writing some short what's the term? Short films. Thank you, yes. Straight off into writing, studying journalism, figured out it wasn't really for him, but now he loves fiction writing. He ends up here at Planet Dolan doing that as a side gig. Overall, I guess from what I've learned, and I'm hoping you guys are learning, it's development over the years of thinking of where you want to be, and sometimes it can land you somewhere where you never thought it'd take you, So for me, for example, like I never thought I'd end up at Planet Dolan getting my foot into the animation business. And I'm sure for you, Derek, like a prime example, growing up, you wanted to be an actor. And just life took you through its course, and look where you ended up now. And I think it's such an inspirational story myself.
Oh, thank you. I'm more comfortable behind the scenes than in front of the camera,
Well, not today. Today you're going to be put in the voice spotlight. I don't know what the term would be. But alright. So then, let's wrap things up then. I have just one final question.
Okay.
So, of everything you have done in your life so far, through all the ups and downs, especially when it comes to pursuing your art of, fiction writing and just, I guess, let's just use the term writing for now, I guess. Have you ever regretted it? Have you ever regretted choosing this to be something that you definitely do not want to let go of, especially on the fact that you do have a full-time job? But do you regret sticking to this writing, or how do you feel about it?
I don't regret it at all. I don't regret choosing fiction writing. I do regret journalism because I'm glad I tried journalism, but I do regret going for it. It seems like all that work for nothing, really.
Yeah.
But you had asked why I don't regret fiction writing. once again, I just love writing stories too much. I mean, it'd be wrong to have any regrets about it. I mean, I brought entertainment to many people, or I hope I brought entertainment to many people. Like, I can't say for myself. I can't speak for them, but I really hope I did. And that's what I write. It isn't for fame and fortune. It's for entertaining people. And maybe if I write that kind of story, maybe teaching them some morals. Maybe having them walk away with something. With a theme.
I mean, and in reality, in my opinion, writing is an art. I mean, and what else would you want from your art, right?
Right.
Leave people inspired, teach them something. I mean, I think that's a noble thing. I think, I forget, I want to say it was, I forgot the name of the guy who said this quote, but, like, he said, like, the most noblest art is that of making people laugh, I believe.
It sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah, I can't remember who said it, and I probably even butchered the quote, so don't even quote me on that quote. But that's the point, is that I love hearing from people that are in animation or just in entertainment too, is sometimes guys, like, we seriously just do this because we love it. Because we want to make, people laugh. We want to cause them, or have people get, entertained by whatever it is that we do. And I'm hoping all of you that are listening, if you're seriously contemplating, debating on whether you want to go to art school, want to get into animation or anything like that, just really think of what makes you happy. Really get, if you're fortunate enough to get really good at what you like, I would say just go at it. Because something that I've learned, and I'm still really young, but something that I always take to heart is, no one's going to live my life for me. No one's going to go through all the pain and suffering that I go through. No one's going to live everything that I go through. So, the experience is all on my own. So I feel everything I'm hearing from Derek here, like, honestly, I think that's amazing. And, I'm really glad I got you on the show, Derek. Like, thank you so much for agreeing to be on this podcast. It really is a pleasure to meet you.
Oh, thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. I really did have a good time.
Yeah, me too. So, overall, guys, this was Derek again. He writes at Planet Dolan, writes for himself. He has a full-time job, but still does not find any excuse to be able to write for his hobby, which is his passion. And I'm hoping anything you guys can take away from this is something that Derek said that I really like, which is slow down. I love that. That's great. That's seriously going to be on the title now. But overall, Derek, again, thank you so much for being a part of this podcast. Is there any last-minute words you want to say to anyone?
Slow down.
Hey, there it is.
Happy writing, guys. You can do it. I believe in you.
Now, is there also, any last-minute links? I know you have a Twitter, but do you have anything else I can link for you so people can find you, maybe even email you? Like, is there anything you would like me to share?
Recently started a writing podcast.
Oh, perfect.
Not really a writing podcast per se. It is a writing podcast, but there are so many writing podcasts out there that I'm trying to do something a little different. It's not an educational writing podcast or anything. It isn't like how to develop characters or how to do this or that in writing. It's just a writing discussion. Like, one episode maybe discuss songwriting. Another episode poetry, and so on and so forth. And it's on YouTube.
Okay. Can I get can you send me the link? I'll link it down. But what's the title? What's the name of this podcast?
It's called The Writer's Block.
I love it. Yeah, I really get it.
And this is mentioned. James Shark, who's an illustrator of Planet Dolan,
yes,
does the title card for me.
Oh, how nice!
Or title cards for me. Excuse me.
But yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You finish.
Oh, I was just going to say that right now I'm on hiatus because, once again, I'm moving. I've just been too busy focusing on that. But new episodes to come soon.
All right. You guys heard it. Writer's Block. I'll leave it down linked in the description. And again, he does have a Twitter. So if you guys can, go ahead and give him a follow. And yeah, if you guys have any questions in writing, feel free to message him. Or I'm assuming you're open to any kind of questions.
Oh, of course. Please ask away.
There you go. So, again, guys, thank you guys for listening to the Civilmation Podcast, where I, Civil Spider, will interview and ask people who are in the business or try to get into the business so we can hear their stories, hear what they do, and hopefully we all take some nugget of information from them, because we all live different lives, we all have different paths, so that doesn't mean there's only one path to take. You never know what's out there unless we hear from the people that are experiencing it or have experienced it already. So again, Derek, thank you so much for being part of the podcast. I hope you have a great day, and we'll definitely stay in touch.
Sounds good, Tony. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Have a good day, everyone. Until next time.
See ya.